Our tagline here is on earth as it is in heaven. Every tribe, every nation, every tongue under the sun. And shame is something that is universal to all people, to all cultures, to all races. You could think of in Asian societies how shame is a great cause and leading cause of suicide. You could think about how in American society, when people take the perp walk and they cover their heads up, or these Tinder walks of shame from one-night stands, and all types of people of all types of backgrounds that experience shame. Shame is something that in the Greek, the word means disfigure, to be disfigured. The way to think about it is that it's an improper view of yourself. And excessive shame leads to alienation. It leads to eating disorders. It leads to lack of confidence, lack of esteem, self-esteem issues. These all stem from shame. And people have different methods to try to approach dealing with shame. Now, we could all say, well, if you do something wrong, you should be ashamed. And there's some truth to that a certain amount of shame, a certain amount of feeling bad for what you do can lead you to God, to repentance, and can be part of that we're born with a conscience. So I'm talking about excessive shame. Excessive shame. Someone who is really feels that disfigured all the time. Some aspects, the way it manifests, are more common in men, and some other aspects can be more common in women. What's the antidote? What's the solution? What's the answer that God has for shame? Once you have this disfigured view of yourself, what's going on with all the selfies? Aren't they all screaming out, look at me? I don't like how I look. These contorted ways that these sultry looks that women pose for. There's something there where there's something empty. There's a vacuum, an emptiness. And the emptiness is created by shame, and it tries to be filled with approval and looking at me and look at me and how am I and how do you see me? We all know this is real, right? This is universal. This isn't just a problem with 50-year-old guys from Lowell. This is something that can happen in any era, in any age, in any culture, in any race. And what's the antidote? The antidote in the Bible is hope. Because Paul says, I eagerly expect and hope that I will not be ashamed. So what he's saying is, if you have hope, you can't have shame. You can't be full of hope and full of shame. Hope is the eager expectation of good. Now, when he says, I eagerly expect, tongue twister, he's saying, I have my neck stuck out. I'm eager. I'm on my tippy toes. Some of your kids may have been that on Easter morning to get the baskets. When we were kids at Christmas, we couldn't open our presents till 5:30 in the morning, and we'd wake up at 3. And we'd look at the clock, and we'd do 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like I did in Latin class, and we would just X out every minute that went by till the time that we could run downstairs. That's eagerly expecting. Now I wake up, the kids are already torn up everything. Back to the seriousness. Hope is the antidote for shame. Hope is God's solution to the brokenness that people have and that people feel. And when you feel that and you don't know where to go with it, you have hope. What is hope? Eager expectation of good. How do you get hope? You get hope by faith. So hope is faith's offspring. What is faith? Faith is trusting in God. It just means to depend in God.